All right, we're live. All right,
Yay.
folks, welcome to the Last Dance G Plus Smartphone Photographer Hangout. Last Dance being this is the last one. Google has seen fit to kill G Plus, and along
Yep.
with that, we'll do in a lot of our community groups that we all know and love. Smartphone photographer is one of them. We kind of poked around the Flickr for a bit. Um, Flickr is trying very hard to reinvent themselves, but they're not there yet.
Yes.
So we ended up on MeWe. And for those of us that it's new to us, let's see if I can bring it up. I will show you a little bit. Not sure how well that's going to work. Yeah, blows out. I'll see if I can bring up a page and then put it into the feed. But it's kind of like Instagram on steroids a little bit. It's interactive, which is kind of nice. You can put up pictures and
Right.
comments and emojis and everything else and have a good time. But that's kind of where we're going to take the group for now and try to stay in
Okay, that
touch.
works.
And I happen to drag in one of our friends, and Michael from Texas, and we'll let him introduce himself and tell us where he is and how he is, and we'll move from there. Take it away, Mike.
Okay, well, I'm from Houston, Texas, and nice weather. It's kind of chilly today, but we're doing great.
Nice weather, huh? Yeah, we are 55 degrees and sunny. We've had weeks of rain here in Southern California, which is highly unusual for us, but we're surviving. We're
Yeah, we
making it
well,
through.
it's 64, 65, which depending which thermometer you look at here. And now tomorrow's supposed to be rest of the week's supposed to be rainy. We've had a lot of rain and we've had some cold spells and it's gotten warm.
Well,
Typical
there you go.
Texas weather.
Indeed,
Uh,
indeed. I remember going to Irving a lot and being introduced to some of that Texas weather.
Yeah, they say if you don't like the weather, wait an hour, it'll change.
That was true too. That was true. Um, in today, we're going to cover several different things. One of which is I brought some new trinkets. Woo! This is a extended battery pack for Moment, along with one of their handy dandy little wrist straps. And while this looks like just a normal case, when you unzip the normal case, you've got Moment lenses, of which they've got a
Oh,
brand new one,
cool.
which I picked up, which I took up to San Francisco first week in January. Had a lot of fun in Chinatown and down the Fisherman's Wharf and going around. And I gotta say, I'm very impressed with the new lens. They redid the design for the new cameras for like the 7 and the 8 and the XR with the different sensors and how they've done the glass. And it does make a difference. Their old 60 millimeter lens, according to the guy at Moment, is more of an art lens at this point. It works with the new cameras, but it distorts on the outside edges quite a bit, and people are using it for an art lens. If you want a real lens, you got to have to upgrade and pick up the new. Let me pull it out, make sure I get the right specification here. 58 millimeter, and that's what it is. It's a big
Oh,
old hunk
wow.
of glass, like it always is. And the difference is, and I can actually show you the difference. The older lenses, see that little silver? That was an
Yep.
adapter that they gave us to take the old school lens, which this is the wide angle, this is the 18 millimeter, and mount it to the new cases they're using. They got away from that little band of metal that they stuck to the back of the phone, and the mounts right now are actually built into the lens case, into the phone case, which is really nice. But you can see on the new lens, there is no adapter. It's all one piece now.
Nice.
They still weigh a ton. These are heavy lenses. Don't kid yourself. You could probably use it for a weapon when it's mounted on the case. In fact, you just go like that, and now it's on there, just like so. And I had no trouble with it being loose. It lined up each and every time. It did exactly what it was supposed to do, and it took some fabulous pictures, I have to say. I'll dig up some of the pictures and get them into the stream here in a few minutes. Uh, but that's kind of what I did in the last month with my smartphone. I did get I still have my 7. I love my 7. But I did pick up an 8 Plus, and I got to say, I like the big screen. And the camera is, as much as it pains me, the camera is noticeably better on the 8 than it is on the 7. That just breaks my heart
Mhm.
because I like the
Yeah.
smaller size of the 7.
Yeah. Well, I got my newest one is still from the last year's model iPhone 10, the one with touch, I mean, Face ID,
Yeah.
and I took some good pictures with it. Um, as everybody knows, when the George Bush, when President Bush passed away, the funeral was, it was in Bryan College Station, or the resting. Well, they had the train come through. The let off with Bush 4141, the engine.
Mhm.
Uh, it was a cold, rainy day, and it caused my DSLR to lock up. So I did all of the shooting with pictures with my iPhone, and I got a ton of pictures.
Really? Your
And
your
it came,
DSL died and the iPhone kept working.
yes. What happened? The moisture got in the into the mechanism and locked it up. So because it was pouring down rain, and it was in the 40s, pouring rain, and it just got wet, and it quit working. Didn't work right. So I took all the pictures I took with my iPhone 10, and it took some good pictures. Plus, I did a lot of movies. I did some of the 4K movies from it.
Okay. Now, so riddle me this. I went to San Francisco first week in January, and this is the first time that I can remember in quite a while. I intentionally did not take my DSLR, any of them, with me. I took my iPhone, I took the moment lenses, a couple of spare battery packs, cables and whatnot, but no DSLR. And I have to say, it was a very rare occasion that I missed not having my DSLR handy. I didn't miss the weight. I didn't miss carrying all the lenses and all the bits and pieces around. And I loved the fact that I could have, even with the moment lens on the case, I could just put it in my pocket and wander around, have a good time. Now, do you find yourself going more and more and more to the iPhone, especially with the newest generations like the 10 that you have?
I use both. I always, but I did like to. I'll still like to use my SLR, DSLR as primary, but I always keep this one because this is a handy backup, and I'm glad I had the phone with it because I never would have gotten the entire funeral train going by and seeing the casket in the car, the baggage car, and that kind of stuff. So I always take it like, okay, as everybody knows, the I think was it the 150th anniversary of the Golden Spike at Promontory, Utah, where they did the combination of the at that time Central Pacific and Union Pacific. Well, they've rebuilt the big boy. It's now under they have just got through its first pressure test.
I
I
was going
think
to
it's
say,
getting
didn't
ready
they
to do
just
it.
fire that thing off not too long ago?
And they're now, I think they're doing the steam test because it's all put back fully together. They just got to finish up everything. I think it passed the steam test. It passed the pressure test. You have to have it at twice what it's supposed to take.
Wow.
So it's going to be, they're going, I think they say in March, it's supposed to leave Cheyenne for its test runs on its own. And I want to go up there when they bring it out and go up and down Sherman Hill. So I'm taking both my SLR and my iPhone so I can have that because it's me. I don't know how many times, I don't know how long I'll be around to see it actually run because, but just see the big boy run, the 4014 run again. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, I read about that, and I got to say I was pretty impressed with what I read, but I can only imagine what it's like to be there in person.
Yeah, because I've seen the Challenger and I've watched the Challenger go flying by, and this one's even bigger than Challenger, and this is going to be something else.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up a couple pictures. Here we go. And let's see if I can remember how to do this. Uh, that's right, application window. There we go. Tell me when you see that.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so what we have right here is this was a picture taken with the 58 millimeter moment lens on one of the cable cars in San Francisco, handheld, on an
Oh
iPhone
wow.
7. Now, granted, it's been processed a bit. What I'll do is that's the original picture there, and then this is the edited picture. But I gotta say, I'm thrilled with that lens because this is pretty. This is a pretty typical quality shot from it. Um, let's see here. This was another one right here. This is unretouched, and this is actually the wide angle, the 18 millimeter, and you can see it starts to distort a little bit on the edges there. But as long as
Mm-hmm.
your subject is handy near the center, you get some good quality out of it.
Yeah,
And here we go. These are all this is 60 millimeter right here. That's a 60 millimeter, unretouched. And the contrast is good, the sharpness is good, edge to edge is good. I mean, there is nothing wrong in my mind with that lens as a daily shooter. Some of these add-on lenses, you get a little twitchy, they get kind of fuzzy, they don't work that well, they don't line up well. But I mean, you pay, let's make no mistake, these are $100 lenses. These are not a cheap investment. The case is another, for just a plain case, it's I think $40. I think if you want the battery case, it's
oh yeah.
$100. But if you're shooting for high quality smartphone photography, this is where it's at if you want to start playing with lenses.
Oh
Uh,
yes.
and even, well, like, so this is fun. So this is the 60 millimeter, really getting in tight on something, which I enjoy shooting with, because what you end up with is a depth of field that's really kind of hard to get with an iPhone. And I enjoy a lot playing with that sort of aspect of it. And this is
Oh
actually
yeah.
unretouched here. This is the raw image. But, whoops, that was me trying to do a pano and I didn't quite get it right. Here we go. So this is 60 millimeter, straight out of the camera.
Oh wow.
And that's when it's all retouched. Not a bad picture. I gotta
No, it
say,
isn't.
not a
No.
bad picture. And is it as good as my DSLR? No. If you want to zoom in and start counting pixels, it is not as good as my DSLR. But this picture is good for 95% of what I do with my pictures, maybe 98% of what I do with my pictures.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to beat. I mean,
Oh
it
yeah.
really is hard to beat. And let me. I
I
stopped
figure.
sharing, and I'm looking for a particular picture, but it. Oh, here we go. Yes. Okay, so let me get sharing back on.
Because if you can, oh, I think I see where it is. Okay. Yeah, share screen. I'm gonna after you get through. I was gonna share you. I'm just gonna go to
Okay.
my iPhoto or my photos. I'm gonna have to do that. Just tell me if it works once you get through. Oh wow, that's nice.
So this is taken with the 60 millimeter lens through the glass or the acrylic at the aquarium up in San Francisco. This is unretouched.
That is
That's
really nice.
that's a killer image, if I don't mind saying so myself, by any stretch of the imagination. I don't care what camera you're shooting with.
Oh
Really.
yeah, that is. Sometimes there's certain things, especially something like this. I think you can get a better picture with the a smartphone than you
Oh
have
yeah,
that. You don't
you're
have that big
absolutely right.
lens, and it's one of them.
I'm able to get the lens right up to the acrylic and put my hand around it so there's no bleed from the outside light. And
Right?
the smart camera aspect of the iPhone just takes care of business. And all I have to do is worry about composition.
Oh
That's
yeah.
a good thing in anybody's book.
Oh yes.
So let me stop that. Okay. So you go ahead and
Okay.
find one, and once you put up a couple pictures, I'll talk a bit about some of my post-processing and just how far you can carry an iPhone, smartphone picture post-processing wise. I've got something in mind here. If I'd been thinking about it, I would have had it queued up, but
Right.
you know,
Okay.
I'm out of practice on this whole hangout thing,
Yeah.
but we'll figure it
Okay.
out. We'll get there.
Okay. Let me go to if I can get this thing to get into my here we go. The hope you've seen the
Not seeing anything yet.
okay. It's taking it right now. This my I'm taking my process. Do you see all that? Do you see my photos here?
Don't see a thing, dude. It's a black screen. No, still nothing. Now, I got to be getting close. Like I said, I regret not getting this picture put together.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I lost you there for a second.
One more. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Let's see. Yeah. I'm gonna try one more time.
Okay. One more time is good. There's actually two things I want to talk about. So, well, give yourself a few more minutes there, seconds, a little more time. Yeah, why is it when you want to find a picture, you can never find a picture that you want? I swear, the picture gods know that you're looking for something and they hide it from you.
I
That's
keep.
okay. We'll get around it.
I'm, I'm gonna
You gonna try
try.
again?
What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna move my photos. Oh, option. This desk. This thing. Okay. Let's see if I see my photos in here.
Here we go.
Here we are. So
Okay,
okay.
I'm ready. I'm
Now
ready. I'm ready when you are. So you go first.
let's see if I can get it this time. Application window. Uh, keep your fingers crossed.
All right, fingers are crossed. Up. I see something.
Oh, okay. Now let's
Well,
see if I
not
can't.
there. There we go. I see a screen with
Okay.
chats.
Do you see the? All right. Do you see the picture now?
No, I see the
Uh,
chat screen that you have.
okay. All right. Oop. Get let me get out of this. Get out of this. Hey, it's been a long time since we've done this.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Okay. Let's
Well, while
application
you're figuring that
window.
out, let me bring up a picture. So let's set the stage. One thing I hear consistently from a lot of people with smartphones is, yeah, you can take pictures of smartphones, but you can't do anything with it. They see a lot of heavily Instagrammed pictures and a lot of heavy editing with filters. And yeah, okay, if you're on LSD, it might look good, but for everybody else, they
Right.
kind of raise an eyebrow and they go, well, maybe not. And I actually see me in your picture there.
Oh, so I'm trying to get I'm trying to show the video stuff of my photos in my in here.
No, you've got
Yeah,
me twice.
I know. Okay, let me try one more
And
time.
all right,
While you're doing that, I'm just still
that's
trying to get
fine.
it to
I'll keep
go.
going. Anyways, I took a picture of my oldest daughter and I wanted to show people um, what you can do between the phone and using a package like Photoshop. Now, I could have done a lot of this on my phone, and in fact, I did about half of the processing on my phone, and then I pushed it up into Photoshop to finish it. But let me show you the picture, and we'll kind of go over it a little bit. So the original straight out of the camera picture is on the top. That's off an
Oh,
iPhone 7. And as you can see, the weather sucks. The location could be better, but between the trash and the sign and a bunch of other crap, but it had potential. And I knew what I had in my head that I wanted to show. So I got the car where I wanted it, and I had her pose the way I wanted her to pose, with the full intent of editing the hell out of the picture. The picture on the bottom is the edited image, and you can see it's been punched up. The sky's been replaced.
oh
The
yes.
sign here is gone. I've cleaned up the rims and tires. I've changed the asphalt to cobblestone completely, and I added a reflection as if it was
That looks
wet.
cool.
Now, the reflection, the cobblestone, and some of the punching was done in Photoshop. The sign removal, the sky removal, and the basic editing was done on my phone. And I think it turned out pretty damn good across the
Oh
board.
yes, it looks great.
And we blew this up to 11 by 17, and you can't tell it's a smartphone picture. I mean,
Oh no,
you
it looks
can't.
more like you took over the DSLR.
Yeah. So, this whole chat about, well, smartphones can't take good pictures, blah, 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 blah. They do. They really do. If you learn how to edit them correctly. And I think that's really the
Right.
key
That's right.
is you got to be judicious with your editing. You got to be smart with your editing. And when you shoot your picture, you need to have it in your head most of the time, what you're going to do with it. So
Yeah.
how you
Yeah.
doing there,
All right.
Michael?
All right. Do you see a bunch of windows
Nope.
opened?
It's black. I do not see anything. This is where you're going to shoot somebody, right? Poor Mike. He's having a tough time today.
Yeah, my new MacBook Pro is going crazy at times.
Not your friend today?
Oh, well, I was trying to show you the pictures that I took, and I was using trying to use my photo app. You know
Okay.
the photos,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I,
It's not
I kept
cooperating.
right.
Well, we'll carry on with something else I think is going to be near and dear to people's hearts. Let me share this one out. So, something that Google has been doing, and there's a few other apps that are doing it now, but they caught on to the fact that you can um, take a picture of a picture with your smartphone and basically call it a scan. Makes sense. I mean, you're working with a 7, 8, maybe a 10 megapixel picture on your smartphone, and it really comes down to holding it steady with exposure. And what I've done is I've played with the Google app, and I've been scanning a lot of my old prints. And this
Oh
particular
wow.
print, this was a 4x6 of my dad, and I didn't do much of anything other than lay it on the bed and take take a picture using the Google Scan app. And I got to say, I'm really happy with this. Is it a 2400 DPI scan? No. But let's be honest, I don't need a 2400 DPI scan. I need a digital picture I can put into all my other digital pictures of my family. And the honest truth is, I'll never need a 2400 DPI scan. You know, that's just the way it is. And for free, because the Google app is free, this makes a hell of a way to archive a bunch of pictures. I mean, I've gone through scanning pictures with my Nikon scanner and all this crap, and I got to say, laying a picture on the tabletop in a reasonably lit room and using the Google app makes my life a whole lot simpler.
Oh yes.
So I've been doing a lot of that lately. Just finding out more and more uses for my phone. Um, One of the current, in fact, probably the most heavily used app on my phone. Yeah, I wish I could share my screen, but I don't have the cable for it. But I'll do this. I don't know. Oh, you know what? If I turn down my intensity, I bet it's going to work a lot better. Let's do that.
Oh, yes, it will.
Let's do that. Brightness control. Turn you down. Let's see. Does that work better? That works better.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
So let me go back to the app. There we are. So what this is, since it's a mirror image, is this is it's a diet app, for lack of a better word. It's for managing carbs. And you might say, well, why do you care about that? And I would say in the last several months, I've lost 23 pounds by managing carbs. I've gone on to, well, I originally started on the keto diet, and then I went to, in the last 3 or 4 months, to what they call a modified keto. So true keto is under 21 grams of carbs a day, which is tough, but you will lose weight. Modified keto, somewhere between 100 to 50. And you will lose a little weight slowly, but more importantly is you'll maintain what you have lost. And 100 grams a day is actually pretty damn reasonable to maintain if you're not drinking beer. Sorry. And if you pay attention to some of the other trinkets and chips and dips and things like that, you definitely need to eat better. But if you do eat better, you'll naturally fall into a low carb arrangement, or at least I did. But that's become glued to my hand as I try to manage my weight and manage blood sugar and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know about the losing weight because I've had to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's a pain, isn't it?
Well, mine was lose weight or you're going to be gone.
Lose weight or die, literally.
Yep, literally.
Yeah, well, I can
Uh,
honestly say I started keto with a very skeptical view, and it was like, yeah, all right, sure, I'll try it, but my my weight loss was my goal was 10 pounds. I figured, all right, let's try 10, and I ended up losing 23 when it was all said and done. And I mean, I could probably push it and lose another 5, but I'm not sure I want to be that committed to lose another 5 just to say I did it.
yeah, it's true. But yeah, like I got 6 pills I have to take every day.
Oh, not
Some
good.
very strong medicines.
What I'm going to do is I want to pull up the web page, and I'll share that out. And the reason I'm bringing this up is um, weight's become rather critical. I know in our own family, uh, it's easy to slide into bad habits. Let's just say that, and it sneaks up on you when you're not looking. And next thing you know, it's like, huh, this doesn't fit anymore. That doesn't fit anymore. My doctor's yelling at me, and I don't feel good. How the hell did all this happen? And it just kind of comes out of, doesn't come out of the blue, but
Right.
you're not paying attention because you're busy watching everything else going around in your life. And let me share out this screen. There we go. Get the application. Want this one and share. So this happens to be the app that I'm using, Card Manager, but there's 3 or 4, 5 different types of apps out there. This one happens to work for the way I want to pay attention to my diet and follow things. And what that means is I'm pretty religious about after every meal I key it in, and I don't track calories per se. I track carbs, and there's a very distinct difference because you can have a high carb diet and low calorie and gain weight. It's kind of funny that way, but it does work out. The whole thing with keto is it tends to be a higher fat. Although with that said, I never went traditional keto because I just couldn't handle as much fat as they were saying to eat. That didn't work for me. Didn't sit well with me. Um, but nevertheless, I was taking things in moderation. There's all kinds of documentation about keto and how to do keto and how to follow keto, blah, blah, blah. I will say I went on keto and I did about 5 weeks on keto, 6 weeks on keto. And when I saw things starting to work, I go, okay, that means I'm probably going to stick with this a little longer. So I went ahead and made an appointment with my doctor, told her what I was doing. We did a complete blood draw and ran the numbers. And it came back of whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it's working. And so she quizzed me in depth on my diet. She quizzed me in depth on what I was doing. And at the end, she blessed it and says, yeah, it's working for you. You're in good
Yeah.
health. There's nothing wrong with your blood chemistry. Kidney function's good because, people get worried about kidney function. You want to make sure you drink enough water. You will drink enough water or you're not going to feel good at all. Like I said, the first 2 weeks is probably the hardest part for anybody who does this, but you'll get through it. Once you make it to about the 8th week, you should be within a range of where you want to be weight-wise. If you're not, it's still time to take a break and kind of level out and let the body adjust to what you're doing to it, because you're literally reprogramming the body at this point. It wants carbs because carbs are easy, fat's hard, and now you're telling it, nope, I'm only going to give you a minimal amount of carbs to keep you healthy. All the rest of my energy is going to come out of the fat, and the body's going to kick and scream and complain about it for a bit, but it does settle in. The one thing I noticed is when I went out in the morning to go run or walk, the first couple of weeks was hard. I didn't have the energy I normally had. With that said, about the 4th week, 5th week, I would go out and I noticed about halfway through where I would normally start to get hungry, I wasn't. And even at the end of the 2 miles or 3 miles when I got back home, I still wasn't hungry. I was thirsty, but I wasn't hungry. And that allowed me to actually settle into a better eating arrangement as far as food grant. So my smartphone, I wouldn't call it a diet aid, but it's helped a lot. It's really, really helped a lot as far as keeping track of everything. So another use
Yeah.
for a smartphone that's not photography. So we drifted a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have to do the same thing. I gotta, um, unlike you, I have to watch how much water I take in because I'm only
Yeah,
allowed to have so much because since my heart doesn't pump properly,
yeah,
I
you got to
can
watch
develop
the
fluid in
volume.
my leg. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I do have a diuretic that makes you want to go constantly.
Oh joy. Oh joy.
Yes, in fact, I'm gonna not take it right when I'm supposed to because the minute I take within a few minutes, I'm gonna have to go. So I'm wait till I get out of the get through the hangout, and
Yeah.
I will
We,
then
we
take my
won't keep you in
medicine.
the chair too long then.
No, no, I'm okay. I can as long as I take it before I go to plenty of time before I go to bed. Otherwise, I'm up all night.
Yeah, I can see that could be a real problem.
But I'm sorry I couldn't share those photos. I was going to show you those photos of the that I took with the trains, the iPhone. I was very impressed with, and I know true. I did most of mine in video wise at
Yeah.
4K at whatever the frame rate the iPhone 10 does,
Is it
and
capable of
they
120 or is it 60 only on the iPhone 10?
I think it's 60. I don't know. I think it's 60.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of video with mine, to be honest. I tend to do a lot more still work.
Well, I wanted to try it out to see how it did. Because see, unlike the 8 and all the others, this has image stabilization even on video.
Like
This
real
one,
stabilization. So like if I take my camera and I've had a little too much coffee in the day, it'll kind of settle it
uh-huh,
out for me.
uh-huh, yes.
That's pretty cool. I
Eh,
could get used
Now,
to that.
yeah, the 10R doesn't have it. In fact, it has the same exact same just the wide angle, I mean, the normal lens that the iPhone 8 has, but the 10 and plus the 10s, 10s Max has all that fancy stuff in it. I do have the iPhone for work phone. I have the 10R, and that
Yeah,
thing's a big phone. What I
yeah,
like about this one, It's every bit as big as the screen wise is the same size as the 8 or 8 plus, I should say. But of course, it has that famous notch.
The famous or infamous notch, depending on one's point of view.
Right.
Now, does the notch really bother you that much?
I don't even notice it.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
not sure I understand the big to do about the notch and notchless and all that. I mean, you know, I remember, when iPhones came out with the camera that kind of stuck out from the back a little bit, I thought that was a dumb idea, and I still think that's a dumb idea because it puts the lens out there where it's going to get beat up and scratched. But I don't
Right.
understand the whole to do about the notch on the front.
Let's see. So, oh yeah. Okay, let me go. I'll just show you on. All right, now you can see. Uh, dim the thing down so you can see. You can see the notch right at the very top.
Yeah, all right. I don't think it's that big a deal.
Ah,
I
it isn't.
really don't.
It really isn't. You know, when I first got the phone, yes, it kind of drove me crazy for a little while, but it lasted for about an hour. After really half a day. Excuse me. That's medicine. I got one that causes me to cough. It's a dry cough, and I hate it. But I don't even notice it. Fact, uh, I don't pay attention to it because that's also where the Face ID stuff is. And you ought to see that using an infrared camera, all the dots in your face that it puts on to actually when you're doing when it does everything, it looks at all these dots, and that's how it does the Face ID.
Yeah,
But I've
that's interesting. Yeah,
oh yeah,
my 13-year-old's got the XR with the facial ID,
yeah,
and it
that's
drives
what
her a
the
little
XR.
crazy.
But it even even with this microphone, I've told it. I've used it a couple of times when I've done talking or doing a Skype chat with some friends, or even work when I'm doing the work podcast. Uh, I had the microphone in the first time it asked me for my password. It says, "Oh, you have something in front of your face." Okay, we see it, but it recognizes me with dark glasses on, as long as they're not polarized.
Okay.
It recognizes me with glasses, unglasses, no glasses, with a beard, long hair, short hair. I'm very impressed with how it
That's
works.
interesting. All right.
Only
Well,
time, only time I kind of wish I had the finger ID or the thumb ID is when I'm in the car because I can't look at the phone.
yeah, that would make it a little tough. Well, I got a couple more things to share, and then we can wrap up.
Okay. Oh, by the
So,
way, everybody, I do have the
what you
new
got?
Series 4 Apple Watch that does
Oh,
the
now that has the EKG, right?
yes. Let me bring it up. I can't run it, but
Yeah, we see it.
okay, there.
There it is.
See the heart? Yeah,
I
there's the
do. I
EKG,
do.
and it works great. I was having some problems a couple of weeks ago, and I had to go into the emergency room. In fact, I got put in the ICU for a couple of days because I was having some heart issues. He examined some of. All right, this is like a one lead of the 12 that they use on the medical one. But he said that one lead was very accurate.
Really? That's
Said
good to know.
it mainly is for um, if your heart's out of sync,
Okay.
that let you know, if you're an AFib,
Okay.
and he said it would detect that. And he said he said it's pretty doggone accurate, just like the heart rate monitors, pretty doggone accurate because they check both.
Yeah, I got to say, I started with a Fitbit. They're 225, and I went to a 235, which has got the GPS and the watch and everything built into it. And one of my daughters bought an iWatch, and it didn't do what she wanted, so it ended up sitting. And I said, well, let me try the iWatch. So I ended up wearing it. It was an iWatch 2. I wore it for about 2 weeks, and I ended up going out and buying my own. I bought a 3 as an
Right.
open box, and
Right.
it's
The,
become pretty indispensable to me. I
oh
bought
yeah.
the LTE version, which
Right.
I highly recommended.
I had well, I have two of them now. This one came with a prescription. My other one, I had to go back. It had to go back to Apple because there was a problem with it was not charging right. It's my Hermes. So you know
Okay.
how much that one is.
Yep. Yep. No, I
And
bought mine
I
as
wear
a,
the.
well, you can see the little red dot.
Mhm.
This is one of the
Well,
ceramics. And yep, I was able to get
mine
it
has.
as an open box
Yeah,
and
oh,
saved
the ceramic. But yeah, mine's the has the. Of course, I can't have it. Has a little red circle, so the
yeah.
because that's inner part. This is where when you touch it, this is where you do your EKG.
Okay. That makes sense.
All right, let me take.
But I gotta say I've been very impressed with my watch. It's got a couple quirks to it I wish it didn't do, but I mean that's
See,
like
well,
anything tech we have.
no, I got a different back on this because this
Okay.
has the um, it's that this black. It's running right now. I've been running it. But you see that little black piece around where the sensor is for
Yeah.
the that is the part one. That's the first contact for the EKG.
Okay.
It has a contact on your skin. Then you come back and touch it on the crown, and voila, get your heart rate.
That's impressive.
It it runs for 30 seconds, and it's pretty accurate. Kind of show you some of the.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go over to the health app. Okay, exercise. Oh, here it is. EKG.
Yep. Sinus rhythm. There you go. Wow. Check that out. That's pretty cool.
Oh yes. And if you're having problems, you I do every so often. I will export all these over to PDF and send it in to the doctor.
Now that's handy. So the doctor can actually read it from what you saw on the watch and make a judgment
Uh-huh.
call.
Right.
That's
And
nice.
well, I wasn't feeling too good, and he said run it and send me the newest one, and I emailed him the actual. He said come into the ER because we're gonna have to put you in because you got some problems. And you get settled down.
Wow. And
So
you wouldn't have known until too late if it weren't for the watch, I'm guessing.
right. Well, I wasn't. I can since he's the one that she prescribed it. That's now this one. As I said, I would normally sleep with this one on, and I wear my Hermes during the day. It's the exact same thing. It's just the Series 4 Hermes, but
Yeah.
I wear the fancy one during the day, and I'll put this one at night. But right now, until my other one back from Apple, which should be back
So
tomorrow.
that's your daily driver.
Right now, but I'm very impressed with the Apple Watch. I am. I think they did a hell of a job on it, and I'm not too sure I'm going to wait next fall, and get the newest one because this one's right now doing what I wanted because it's and being the gold one, the gold stainless steel was quite expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. No, I'll say that this right here works better than the Garmin did. I had the Garmin 225. I think I called it a Fitbit earlier, and it was a Garmin, and the 235. And the problem with the Garmin's is the 235 was supposed to measure heart rate, and it would if you had it cinched down, blood circulation stopping tight, and you had a sleeve over it to keep the light from leaking in.
Yeah.
And that was the better sensor of the two. The Apple Watch doesn't seem to give a damn how loose or how
Well,
tight.
it
And I
has
imagine it does, but I wear it
right.
relatively loose and it works just fine, even in the broad
Yeah.
daylight.
Well, see what it does. See what it does. You have an infrared sensor, and you have the green LED one.
Right,
So
right.
so it does both, and this one has it too. And yeah, I don't have to wear it now. I have to wear a little bit tighter when I'm what you're doing the EKG because you need to have a really good contact. Generally, I'll hold it and kind of push down on it and take my EKG as long, but you have to keep your arms completely still. But also, I have that Aura, I think it's called Aura Ring. Right now, I just forgot. It's on charging, but I don't even care where it as well. And that one gives me my temperature at night. And I can
Yes,
always look at
you're
my
still
temperature.
breathing and you're still warm.
Yes, but it's on charging. I've been wearing my one of my little replica rings that I got.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Rub it in.
Hey,
All right.
I got I because of where I work for, I got the real thing. This
Yeah.
one's not.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
got the $12,000 ring.
That's
Ooh.
pretty crazy.
And
All
that
right.
because it's real diamonds and everything. But yeah, but I like all that stuff. But as I said, when I go to Cheyenne to do the big boy, I'm taking both my XLR and my iPhone, and I'm going to bring that extra that I find the battery case so I have plenty of
Plenty
juice.
of juice. Yep.
And that way, something I'll get it no matter what because I don't know what what's going to happen next.
Yeah. I'd like to see those pictures when you get them.
Oh, you'll see. I will put them up on that MeWe,
Okay.
and I will put them up on my Flickr site because I use Flickr a lot.
Yep. All right. Well, let me cover a couple small items and we can close out.
Okay.
I've got to go look at a Volvo of all things.
Well,
I might,
I gotta just a little bit moderate the Mac Geek Gab
yeah,
podcast
I
chat
might,
room.
my Toyota 4Runner may find a new home.
Oh, okay.
And we'll see. We'll see. I like my red 4Runner. But anyways, so
You're right.
we all know these little pop sockets.
Uh-huh.
I found I found a person, but there's dozens of people that sell replacement adhesive. My girls live on these pop sockets, and the trouble is, after I peel them off 3 or 4 times, the adhesive doesn't work anymore. And they were going to throw the pop socket out, and I went, no, 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 don't do that, don't do that. And it turns out there's a little cottage industry of people selling the disc already cut, ready to go. It's like 4 discs for $3, and you can rebuild your pop sockets. All I had to do is take my thumb and just roll the old adhesive off and get it off the plastic, and then stick the new adhesive on, and you're good to go. $20 in pop sockets refurbished for $2. Hard to argue with that.
Oh, yes.
The other item is this. And you might say, well, what is this? This is one of the computer readers, the OBD2 readers that
Oh,
go into
yeah.
your car.
Uh-huh.
And I had one for Bluetooth, but it turns out the iPhone is persnickety about Bluetooth unless it's 4.0 or better. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these readers are not 4.0 or not fully 4.0. So I ended up with a Wi-Fi version, which allows me to log into the car's computer and see what kind of check engine lights are on, why they're on, what the log files have to say. And this little $20 reader has saved me over $200 in mechanic bills so far, just by clearing out a couple of check engine lights because the car got a little quirky on a hot summer day.
Oh, I hear that.
So, again, smartphones are, you know, I make maybe 3 calls a month on my phone, but I do everything else on it. I'm checking my car, I'm
Well,
fixing my car, I'm taking pictures, documenting things, recording
yeah.
things, writing things, everything but talking on the phone.
Well, I do. A lot of times I use mine for everything, including talking, because I since my line of work, I'm always have to keep things rolled over. So when I'm not at home, I roll my home phone over to my cell
Oh
phone
yeah, I've done that too.
since since I have unlimited voice on it. So that way I'm always in touch.
All right.
Yeah, I just can't live without it. And I tell you, I'm very impressed. And now with these cameras getting better, I'm kind of curious to see what the iPhone 11, I think they're going to call it next month,
Well,
or not
you
next
you
month.
saw the news from the CEO of Canon, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, where he basically said, yeah, we're throwing in the towel. that the smartphones have kicked our ass and we can't keep up, and we're admitting it, and we're not going to do it anymore. They're going to concentrate on the pro market, and the consumer market can just go away and die off. And I got a feeling Nikon's not going to be that much far behind them.
Yeah, because I still got my 5D Mark III, and I've got my 7D. One's the full frame, the other one's the crop sensor.
Yeah, well, you know what that's going to mean. It's going to mean a couple things. The DSLR market's going to dry up to a large degree, unless you're a pro, but it's going to drive the per unit cost up. Because
yes,
they're cheap today. Well, they're relatively cheap today because of the volume. But if there's no volume, then it's going to be an expensive toy.
That's why I got. Well, when I heard about all that, said I got me some more glass. When you still can get it, because I got different ones, and of course my now it's more expensive for that full frame glass. It's cost an arm and a leg, but it's going to be it's a lot cheaper than it will be later on. I went and got my glass, and so now I pretty well have it, and I'm very careful with it, so it should last forever, for as long as I last.
Yeah. Well, short of dropping it, or letting it fall into a fountain or something.
Which I'm very careful about not dropping
it. I had a tripod get kicked over, and it took out my D700 with a 70 to 200 millimeter. That was an expensive mistake.
Oh yeah. Now I do a lot of shooting with tripods, but I did not bring my bring a tripod when I went to that the funeral train, because of that I didn't want to get kicked over.
Fancy that.
Because I had my good stuff on it. All right.
Okay, well, let's wrap this up. And since I've got the focus on you right now, why don't you go ahead and tell us where we can find you at now that G Plus is disappearing?
I can still be found on Facebook and of course Twitter as Michael King 4023, and I can still be found on Hangouts. But yeah, G Plus is now, well, as of April the 2nd. Yeah. Until then, I can still be found at G Plus, but not much, for not long.
The impression I have reading is Hangouts are around. Hangouts are still around for at least a year.
Yeah, because it's part of their Google Voice stuff.
That's right. So we may still be able to do Hangouts, which is fine. We'll work it out.
Right, but as far as G Plus,
yeah, G Plus is host, which really sucks because I hate Facebook.
Well, I'm on it because so many people are on it, and I've got some well-known friends are on it.
Yeah, I understand. People got different reasons. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have to be on it, so it's my choice.
Right.
You can find me on Instagram, Mike Sweeney Media. You can find me on Twitter as Silicon Film or Focused Pixels. Focused Pixels is the current iteration. Silicon Film's going to go away. And the website, msmedia.me, is under renovation at this point. I had some technical issues when we cut over to SSL, and I just basically trashed the site and said, time for a reboot. So we're in the process of doing that right now. Other than that, you can find me. You can find me on Flickr too under YBNormal, WYBNORMAL. And that's it. So thanks for joining us, and thanks for being part of the community for as long as it lasted. And we'll try to build a new community wherever we land at. So we'll see y'all later. Bye.
Bye-bye.